Elliot, what are you? It's a question I've been asked ever since I was a kid in school, and to this day it's a question that people ask me in YouTube and Facebook, and justifiably so. They look at me and they wonder, is this guy black? Because he doesn't seem so much, but he might be. Is this guy white? Because he might be, but his nose and lips are just a little bit too big for that. And perhaps he's Hispanic or Puerto Rican, but damn, he doesn't speak Spanish. So what the heck is going on there? So it's not only a question that other people have wondered, but it's one that I've had to ask myself, especially growing up in a community where it was predominantly white, but you had a few black kids, and everyone knew where they belonged except Elliot Hulse. And when you're 6 years old and people are like, who are you? What are you? Where do you belong? They try to categorize you. You embody that. It becomes a part of your own personal consciousness. So it's a question that to this day I am always asking myself. And those of you who are attracted to me because of my attitude towards self-reliance and personal development and being yourself, the reason why I am this way, and you may be attracted to my message with regard to that, is because of my scorn and gift of not knowing what I am. So I'm grateful for it, but it has also afforded me the opportunity to see the pain that people experience through racism. And when I say racism, I mean prejudice of every sort. If it's because you're black, because you're white, because you're gay, because you are Muslim, because you are Jewish, whatever the thing is that makes you different from everyone else, could be a position of pride, can cause you to feel good for yourself, good about yourself, because you know where you belong, you know who you are. But at the same time, it creates division, separation, and people who label you, put you into these categories, will have all sorts of associations tied to what it is that they think you are. And I say think you are because we are far more than the color of our skin and the ideologies that we accept. Do you see? So, not knowing where you fit in causes you to try to fit in as best you can when you're a kid. And this is what I've done. And growing up, I'm 33 years old right now, I have personally identified with white people as a child, and have gained a vantage point from doing so. There were times when I personally identified with black people, and there was a vantage point that I gained from that experience. And I say Puerto Ricans because I grew up in New York, and that's what they say when you're Spanish, you're Puerto Rican, even though there are lots of different Hispanics. Hispanics are funny because they're some of the most prejudiced against other Hispanics. But anyway, never really fit in with the Puerto Ricans because I don't speak their special language. I only speak English. So through this experience of acceptance, but also prejudice coming from every angle and not being able to settle into a single place that you could call home, has created the individual that you see here today in front of you. But like I said, through those experiences I've been able to gather intel as to the attitudes associated with racism and prejudice. And the very first thing that I want to start with is, if you have experienced racism in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not talking about violence. Violence is wrong no matter how you justify it, right? You don't hurt other people physically and really emotionally, but that's a totally different story. I'm talking about just mere prejudice, where someone doesn't like you because of the color of your skin, because of the religious garb that you're wearing, or known ideology, whatever the case may be. It's not about you. It absolutely has nothing to do with you. When someone is treating you poorly, or perhaps thinking of you poorly, it's a better way to describe it, because we feel people's feelings, the looks on their eyes and the energy associated with their attitudes towards you, right? So if someone feels ill towards you, the very first thing that you have to recognize, and this is not just airy-fairy magic talk, this is reality based on the perspectives that I've gained. It has nothing to do with you. They don't hate you because you are a particular color. They don't like you because they're scared of you. They don't understand you. And as human beings, that which we don't understand always causes resistance. We don't get it. We don't understand it. So we associate it with everything opposite of us so that we can gain a vantage point, so that we can gain perspective as to what's going on here. I am a this, and he's not a this, so he must be a that. And the that is always opposite, i.e. evil, right? So there's fear associated with it. There's fear, and there's also a sense of pride. I've recognized this from my gaining perspective on every angle of race. You know, I've been able to finagle, sneak my way in just enough to like kind of to get to know what people are actually thinking, and they're proud. White people are proud of their whiteness. There's also a sense of guilt associated with it, right? And this is neither right nor wrong, but the situation is such that they should feel proud for who they are, and we should all feel proud for who we are. But there's also an air of fear, like I described, but guilt. There's white guilt. I've experienced this. I watch them and I listen to them talk and I see their attitudes and behaviors, and I realize, you're guilty. That you want to feel proud, but you shouldn't, because it's not politically correct. And it's unfortunate because guilt is a form of resistance that causes resentment, right? So then there's resentment towards blacks and browns. I say browns because I put everyone else in that category. And the same with blacks. There is a sense of pride, and there should be a sense of pride for the culture, the heritage, the pain, and I'm talking specifically about African Americans, the pain associated with their history and being able to move through and get to where they are today. There's a sense of pride, and there should be, but there's also a sense of resentment tied into that. So you've got fear, pride, and then resentment. These feelings of pride, guilt, fear, and resentment belong to the individuals that are proceeding in life and don't belong to the opposite end of the spectrum, i.e., it doesn't belong to the white person that is that's receiving ill feelings and attitudes towards him. It doesn't belong to the black person in the same situation. It is owned fully, 100%, by the individual that those feelings are coming up in. So, if you end up being one of those people who are on the receiving end of this form of racism, right? Recognize that that person is an individual also. They have feelings also. They may be ignorant about how to deal with how the feelings are coming up in their body. It's very difficult for people to be objective about their feelings and objective about themselves. It's just one of those things that I've been able to do because of my situation. I always have to be detached because I can't be too tied to this version of Elliot or that version of Elliot, because really, none of it is Elliot. So when I say this, just understand that not everybody has that perspective. We're all very subjective. We only know where we're coming from, and it's very hard to gain a perspective for the other person, be objective. And your attitude, when you're on the receiving end, is to carry yourself humbly. That's my invitation with this video, because I experienced this. And you could be angry, right? But that serves no one, especially since it's that person's situation and not yours. You can give it back to that person, and that just escalates the problem. Or you could just walk firmly in your own footsteps and treat others the way you want to be treated, regardless of their energy towards you. When I say walk humbly, I don't mean put your head down. I mean be self-confident, self-reliant, understanding of yourself, and objective about what you're receiving from that other individual. When we can all do this, when we can all look through the eyes of another individual, especially those riddled with fear, guilt, and resentment, we'll begin to understand each other much better. And that is the seed of love And when I say love, I don't mean the romantic love. I mean unity and understanding and getting along with one another. It begins with you.